Hey guys, how are we doing? It is Martin Cliffe here, and I wanted to welcome you to episode 29 of my guitars. Although, as explained, that doesn't mean I have 29 guitars, and certainly not in Hong Kong. I have maybe 28, but that's a whole other story. So this is my most recent acquisition as of the date of filming, which is the 12th of September 2018. This is a Gibson Les Paul Traditional 2016 model. I bought it on eBay from a seller in Japan. I've made a few modifications to it. Just turn my fuzz off before it does crazy things. So I've top wrapped the bridge, which is something I like to do. If you're not really aware of what that is, it basically means that rather than having the tailpiece high, and then feeding the strings through from the back, because if you have it too low you get too much of a break angle over the bridge. Instead, if you screw it down and then feed the strings back through from this side and over the top, it just gives it a slightly more jangly tone and is also more aesthetically pleasing, and just helps the strings to feel a little bit more snappy. I've replaced the tuners. It actually came with a bent tuner. I knew about that. The seller was very honest about that. I had excellent dealings with the seller in Japan. But I was going to replace them anyway, so I've got Goto Magnum locking tuners. I think it's the MGT or something. It's the ones with the buttons that still look like a Gibson Les Paul Traditional, but they're locking tuners, so they're nice and low profile. I don't know how easy it is to see in camera. But it means that they don't stick up anything like as much as the stock Gibson tuners do. The locking mechanism is pretty subtle and works really well. I've replaced the output jack with a pure tone output jack. If you've not come across them, they're quite cunning in that they have two pairs of contacts, or on a stereo jack, three pairs of contacts. So rather than having just like one thing on a spring attachment pressing against the connection, you have one on either side. So that means that it gives you a much more secure contact. You get less of those crackly jack socket jacks, you know, as you've got the thing plugged in. I've upgraded most of my guitars that will fit those with them. So both my Strats have them, all of my Surs, and now both my Les Pauls. It doesn't fit the tele electro socket jack, at least the ones I've tried so far, but those jacks seem to be fine anyway. But you know, it's a worthy upgrade. They're not expensive. I mean, they're about $8 US, I think, or something like that, and it's a, you know, it's a worthy upgrade for just more peace of mind. And then I've put locks, strap locks on it, so I can use one of my good DSL straps. This is a 3.5-inch one, padded, really comfortable. This guitar is almost identical weight to my other Les Paul, so it comes in at 8.6 pounds. I can't remember what that is in kilos, 3.7 or something along those lines. It's heavy compared with my other guitars, but it's fairly light for a Les Paul, particularly a traditional Les Paul. And it feels comfortable. It's a nice guitar. This is the light burst finish. First I thought it was a honey burst looking at it, but the honey burst has red back and sides, and the light burst has just the natural mahogany wood back and sides. So this is definitely the light burst. It's just a lovely looking guitar, and it plays really nicely. Got it tuned to E flat, strung with D'Addario NYXL 11 to 49s, which in E flat seems to be perfect for a Les Paul. I would ideally like them to do NYXL 10.5 to 48s, but they don't do that in the NYXL strings. So if I was going to have it in concert pitch, that would be ideal for a Les Paul. I find 10s are a little bit on the light side. But yeah, so it sounds like a Les Paul. It's stock pickups. So if I just go completely clean, that's the neck pickup, and a lot of warmth there, lovely sounding tone. Both pickups together all the way up. And the bridge pickup, it's really bright, but it's a little bit quiet by comparison, I think. So obviously this is really easy to adjust. If you've never adjusted a guitar pickup before, it's a good idea just to look at it and see how far it is off the strings. This one I've got plenty of wiggle room, so I'm just going to take a simple Phillips screwdriver, or I would, except it's a flathead screws on these. So let's find a flathead screwdriver. And I'm just going to make one full turn clockwise on both screws. And that just raises it up just a fraction of an inch. But that's already more balanced. I hope that's coming across. So simple things like that is just the sort of things you can do very easily to your guitar. Now it's a little bit kind of cutting by comparison to the neck pickup like that. So what I tend to do is just roll the bridge tone control down to about 6. And I love the flexibility of, I never thought I'd get used to it, but the flexibility of having the 4 controls, so separate volume and tone for each pickup on a Les Paul, because you can just tweak things as you see fit. So you can get you know, if you want a slightly softer tone on your neck pickup, you can switch to it, and the variety of tones you can get, particularly on the both pickups together, is amazing. So there I just rolled the neck pickup volume down to 6. But it gives me a warmer tone compared with just the bridge pickup. But without losing that jangle, which I would just get on the neck pickup. So there's all these different tonal varieties you can get from a Les Paul just with basic wiring. That's why, for me, the traditional is my Les Paul of choice, and I wouldn't buy a standard with all the coil splitting or coil tapping and treble bleeds and dip switches and out of phase settings and anything like that, because I have other guitars for those kind of sounds. But for a Les Paul, I want a singing fat lead tone, which is exactly what this gives me. So let's kick in a bit of drive. And then middle. And that bridge pickup. That lovely, rich sounding guitar. Really enjoying this. Only had it a few days. By the time you've seen this video, I'll have had it 3 or 4 weeks, I guess. But yeah, definitely a great addition. I never set out to collect hundreds of Les Pauls. You know, that's not my thing. I never set out to collect hundreds of guitars, and that's will never be my goal. But I like having, if I find something I like having a couple of them. That tends to be the way I go. So this is a good second Les Paul for my collection. Unless I buy something like a gold top with P90s at some point, I don't see myself getting another Les Paul, because these two tick the boxes. Thanks for watching, guys. Until next time, take care. I'll speak to you soon.